Imagine your body as a bustling biological factory. Every second, millions of cells work hard to convert food into the energy you need to survive. But producing all that energy has a side effect. It generates toxic waste, including a highly poisonous substance called ammonia. To stay alive, the factory must constantly identify, separate, and remove these toxins. In biology, we call this essential cleanup process excretion. People often confuse excretion with secretion, but they are very different tasks. Excretion is the passive removal of harmful garbage. Secretion is the active movement of useful materials, like tears to lubricate your eyes, or saliva to help you digest a meal. The primary waste management centers for this biological factory are your two kidneys. They are reddish-brown, bean-shaped organs located near your lower back. Because your liver takes up quite a bit of space on the right side of your body, your right kidney sits slightly lower than the left one. Once the kidneys filter out the waste, they send the resulting liquid down a pair of muscular tubes called ureters. These tubes deposit the fluid into a stretchy, muscular sac in your pelvis, the urinary bladder, which temporarily stores the waste. The actual heavy lifting of this system happens on a microscopic scale. Inside each kidney are more than 1 million tiny, complex filtering structures called nephrons. Without this precise anatomical highway and its millions of tiny filters, the toxins from your own metabolism would quickly build up and poison the entire factory. When we zoom inside a single nephron, we find a high-pressure filtration chamber. This is where your bloodstream delivers all of its accumulated waste. The cleanup begins with a step called glomerular filtration. Blood arrives under such intense pressure that the liquid portion, the plasma, is physically squeezed through a microscopic cup-shaped strainer known as Bowman's capsule. At this point, the filtered liquid contains a mix of both toxic waste and highly valuable nutrients. Through a process called selective reabsorption, the body immediately goes through the fluid and reclaims the good stuff, pulling essential water and salts back into the bloodstream before they are lost. Whatever the body leaves behind continues moving through a long channel called the collecting tubule, where the unabsorbed toxins are heavily concentrated. This final concentrated fluid is urine. It travels down to the bladder until the pressure builds high enough to trigger the urge to release it all, a biological signal called micturition. It is basically the brain giving your body the all-clear to finally empty the storage tank. The exact chemical makeup and volume of this urine changes constantly based on how you live. Eating a heavily protein-rich diet will force your kidneys to filter out far more urea. Drinking excess water will dilute the urine, causing you to excrete larger volumes to maintain your internal balance. Your kidney is a highly intelligent recycling center. By constantly monitoring what to keep and what to throw away, it perfectly balances the complex chemistry of your entire body. Sometimes severe infections or high blood pressure cause these microscopic filters to completely break down. This results in end-stage renal disease, a critical condition where toxic waste rapidly accumulates in the blood because it can no longer clear it. To survive, patients rely on a medical intervention called dialysis. This is a mechanical process where a patient's blood is pumped out of an artery, mixed with an anti-clotting agent, and run through an artificial kidney machine to be cleaned externally. Creating a machine capable of doing the work of 1 million microscopic nephrons requires massive mechanical scale. Early dialysers used huge rotating drums filled with specialized fluids to physically pull nitrogenous waste out of the patient's blood before pumping it back in. While dialysis filters the blood, it requires hours of treatment multiple times a week. The ultimate long-term solution is a kidney transplant, surgically trading the broken biological reactor for a healthy working organ provided by a human donor. When our internal biofactory fails, human ingenuity provides the surgical workarounds and mechanical technologies required to keep the system running. Humans aren't the only organisms that need to manage metabolic waste. Plants generate toxic byproducts too, but they don't have kidneys and they break down their waste at a much slower rate. Instead of flushing waste away, plants package it into chemical leftovers called secondary metabolites. They store these substances, like sticky resins or bitter alkaloids, in their bark or leaves. These compounds often double as a defense system, tasting so unpleasant that they stop hungry animals from eating the plant. While a tree can simply drop a leaf to rid itself of toxins, we don't have that luxury. Our internal city is too fast-paced, and our filters are too vital. If our kidneys stop, the entire system begins to drown in its own waste. At that point, survival stops being a matter of biology and starts being a matter of community. We move from relying on our own selves to relying on the most profound gift one human can give another, a working organ to replace one that has failed. Many of these organs come from patients who have suffered brain death, requiring immense generosity from families in their darkest moments of grief. A single donor can save multiple lives. From the microscopic chemical filters keeping our cells clean to the incredible generosity of a grieving family, human life relies entirely on complex systems working together to give us one more day.